Namaste everyone here at BookTube. Welcome to my channel, Hamsavahini Vajra Astra. I'm Ahuna. Today's video is going to be a video which discusses a lot of aspects, including some of my book selections for a particular readathon which I've decided to participate in, and also about one of the readathons which I've recently created for the month of December. Now, before I begin, I would like to mention that I have just returned after approximately 4 weeks from BookTube. This is the first video that I am recording after 4 weeks. So I had left BookTube for Diwali preparations around the 23rd or 24th of October. So maybe my video upload was on the 25th of October abruptly, because usually I upload videos on Tuesdays and Fridays, but it has been very haphazard. And also there are a few presentation videos which I make usually in case if I cannot or do not have the time or means to record. So I just put up everything in a presentation and then I just put it together and upload it. I will be hosting a readathon which I recently created in the month of November called Spiritathon. I will post a link to its announcement video in the description box below. So Spiritathon is a month-long readathon wherein we read spiritual non-fiction and spiritual fiction book, and you can read about whichever spiritual path you have or whatever appeals to you in the name of spirituality or which enlivens your spirit. So what I've done is create a readathon which everybody can enjoy, and because it's festive season, so it would be good to have something spiritual as well. So it's a very simple readathon. There are 2 parts. One is a non-fiction part and one is a fiction part. So the non-fiction part deals with reading 2 books, and there are about 7 choices. So you can read any, you can select any of the 2 which finds or which sparks your interest, and you can pursue that. Also, there is another non-fiction section, fiction section, in which you can pick up any of any book which has which can be categorized under spiritual fiction, because it does have a lot of spirituality in it. So there's no hard and fast rule, so you can participate in case if you find it interesting, because of course there are hundreds of readathons which are going on, maybe not hundreds, maybe quite a lot, which I have noticed on BookTube. And also there are cozy reads, there are festive mood reads, and there are fantasy reads, etc. So lots of readathons. So this is one of the readathons which I created, which I found would really help for creating not only the festive mood but also connecting with the festive mood as well. So now, one of the readathons that I would like to participate in, which I've just come across, is the Cloak and Dagger Christmas Readathon, and this will commence from the 1st of December 2020 and will continue till the 31st of December 2020. And this has been hosted by Kate from Kate Howe, Caroline from Carolyn'sReadingRamblings, Kate from TheNovelNomad, and Janelle from TooFondOfBooks. Now, there are 9 clue prompts which are present for this particular readathon, and it's all about reading mystery books and thriller books. So I'm quite excited about that. Coming to the readathon, now there are 9 prompts. The first prompt is the study prompt, which is to read a book which is associated with your profession or a field you would like to know more about. So professionally, I'm an electronics and telecom engineer, and one of my favorite subjects in during my professional studies was radar engineering. So what I've done is I have tried to select a book which reminds me not only of radar but revisits some of the concepts in the form of an application. So I did come across a very interesting book written by David Zimmerman, which was called Radar-Britain's Shield and the Defeat of the Luftwaffe. So this is a historical military application of radar, which I found very interesting. So from the back of the book, it reads as: the individual bravery and skill of the Battle of Radar-Britian pilots, and the fighting qualities of their aircraft would have been in vain if they had not been part of a highly complex and sophisticated air defense system based on radar. The development of the system is just 5 years in one of the most remarkable scientific and technological accomplishments of the 20th century. The creation of the radar defenses have been somewhat overlooked over the years. Many of the studies of radar have focused on the development of technology, with little attention given to the creation of the much larger system for integrating radar into the nation's air defenses. This work relates the development of radar with the diplomatic and air policy concerns of the period, and David Zimmerman shows how a small group of scientists, engineers, airmen, and politicians accomplished this technological miracle. He also reappraises Churchill's role, showing that his influence was more often than not counterproductive to the development of effective air defenses. So this is all about this particular book. I am really looking forward to it. And second prompt is a library prompt, which is to read a book that references other books, or to borrow a book from the library. Now, I don't have any library access at the moment because I am not a member of any library. I prefer to have my own library. But then a book that references other books. For this, I have chosen a theological fiction book which is called Kalki, and this would be the last avatar of Vishnu, which has been written by Dibyanshu Kumar. And Dibyanshu Kumar is an Indian author, of course, as the name suggests. And Kalki is actually supposed to be the last reincarnation, which is avatar, of Lord Sri Vishnu. So he is supposed to be, as per theology and theology experts, he is supposed to incarnate. And some look at it from the mystical aspect of it as well, to state that Kalki is to deal with everything of the consciousness of man. So we do hear a lot about consciousness and Christ consciousness, etc. I'm interested in reading this, so this would be my choice for a book that references other books. There's a lot which is written over here, and a lot from the Bhagavad Gita as well. So it's not exactly about the story, but we'll find the application of the Bhagavad Gita in this particular novel, which has been written about Kalki, which references the Puranas as well. So I'm quite interested in reading about it. Now, the third clue is called The Hall, which is to read a book which is a new to your mystery subgenre, or an author, or in series. So for this, I have two books. Okay, so the first book is by Ashwin Sanghi, and it is the Rozabel line, and this is completely a thread which runs across all the spiritual paths we have and the religious movements we have running in the world currently. So I'll just read out from the back of this book. It reads as: a cardboard box is found on a shelf in a London library. When the mystified librarian opens it, she screams before she falls unconscious to the floor. Within the labyrinth recesses of the Vatican, a beautiful assassin swears she will eliminate all who do not believe in her twisted credo. An elite army of 13, calling itself the Lashkar-e-Talashtar, has scattered around the globe. The fate of its members curiously resembles that of Christ and his apostles. This agenda is Armageddon. A Hindu astrologer spots an approaching conjunction of the stars and nods to himself in grim realization of the end of the world. In Tibet, a group of Buddhist monks searches for reincarnation, much in the way their ancestors searched Judea for the Son of God. In strife-torn Kashmir, a tomb called Rozabel holds the key to a riddle that arises in Jerusalem and gets answered at Vaishno Devi, which is in Jammu in India. An American priest has disturbing visions of people familiar to him, except that they seemed located in other ages. Induced into past life regression, he goes to India to piece together the violent images. Shadowing his every move is the Crux de Costa Permuta, a clandestine society which would rather wipe out creation than allow an ancient secret to be disclosed. In the Rozabel line, a thriller, Swirling between continents and centuries, Ashwin Sanghi traces a pattern that curls backwards to the violent birth of religion itself. So I'm quite interested and excited about reading this book, because it's a theological thriller. I have never really come across theological thrillers, and this is the first time that I have created a TBR which is based around theological thrillers. Also, Ashwin Sanghi is a new to me author, so I'm quite interested in reading this book, and let's see where I get. Now, the other book which I have for this prompt is a very simple book which is called Murder in the Monastery by Bankim Chanda, and I'm sorry, Barun Chandra. I'm really sorry about that. And from the back of the cover, it reads as, Ace Detective Avinash Roy arrives at a sleepy hill station in Sikkim, in India, in the fervent hope that holidaying at a secluded Buddhist monastery up in the mountains will work as a perfect antidote to his jaded, city-weary nerves. And surprisingly, on their last night, Roy is faced with a strange request from the head lama of the monastery, a rare, invaluable manuscript, the very existence of which is a secret, is missing from the underground vaults of the monastery. Could Roy retrieve the treasure without others knowing about it? As Roy agrees to help the senior monk, he soon realizes that the serene ambience of the place would well be just an illusion. Beneath its placid surface lurks intrigues, conspiracies, unbridled passion, ambition, religious extremism, and elemental fear. By the end of it all, Roy's very life is in grave danger, hanging by a thread. Weaving natural beauty with spine-chilling suspense, Murder in the Monastery is an unputdownable read. So let's see if I can read this. If I do have time, my main aim is to read Ashwin Sanghi's Rozabel line, because this is very interesting. But in case if I cannot complete this, then I'll definitely try to complete this. Now, the next read a book which is next numbered in series, or about a game, or it has a game or sports involved. So for this, I have chosen Boris Akunin's Pelagia and the Black Monk. Now, Pelagia is a nun, and she is more interested in and more good at solving mysteries than in being a nun herself. And this is a series which I have just come across, and from the back of the book, it reads as, just as the dust from the case of the white bulldog, because the first case is a white bulldog, begins to settle in the small Russian town of, okay, I cannot pronounce this, so I will try to I will try to write down the spelling over here, because I really cannot pronounce this. And this town, it's a Russian town. Its sleepy rural existence is shaken up once again by the arrival of a desperately frightened monk who seeks the help of the bishop, Mitrofani. The monks have been troubled by visions of a dark hooded figure that appear to walk on the waters of the Blue Lake. Mitrofani sends 3 people to investigate the mystery. All meet with unexpected fates. Finally, Sister Pelagia takes matter into her own hands and ventures across the Blue Lake in search of answers. As she delves deeper into the layers of secrecy that cloak the islanders, and as the body counts continue to rise, Sister Pelagia begins to realize that an encounter with a ghost may be the least of her problems. So this is the second of the mystery series in the Sister Pelagia, I would say, mystery. I'm not getting the correct word. So this is the second book of the series, and I'm also reading the first book for this readathon. So anyway, for this prompt, this is the book that I've chosen. Now, the next prompt or the clue is the conservatory, which is to read a book which involves nature, travel, or a warm climate. And for this, I have chosen to read The Mystery of the Missing Buddha, which is a Singh Sisters adventure, which has been written by Maulshree Mahajan, and it's actually a children's mystery book, and it from the back of the book it reads as, okay, let me just first show you the author. This is the author. Okay, now from the back of the book it reads as, twin sisters Meera and Tara Singh find themselves in the middle of a string of strange incidents involving a man with fluorescent green shoes and drugs, a little llama and stolen idols, an American in search of spirituality, and Nirvana, and a lot more during their summer vacation, as they travel to unravel the mystery with their cousin Samir and his friend Anurag. They also get deeper into the whirlwind adventure. An old, dilapidated and forgotten monastery may hold some answers, but they have to follow more than just visible clues. Set in the picturesque hill station of Dharmashala in India, this is one journey that the young sleuths take on their very own. It is a journey that they will never forget. So I'm quite interested in reading this, because this is actually everything to deal with travel, warm climate, nature, and also Dharamshala has been one of my. I have been to Dharamshala when I was very young. It's a very, very, very pretty and quiet place, and it is reverb. I won't be able to say this correctly, but it actually resonates with spiritual fervor, and it's very peaceful, yet it is energetic. You will find inspiration and enthusiasm while remaining calm and serene, and it's a beautiful place. So I really love Dharmashala, and a book associated with Dharmashala in a children's mystery was definitely quite intriguing, so I selected this book for this particular prompt. Cozy Kitchen, I have chosen. For Cozy Kitchen, of course, you have to read a cozy food-based mystery, or a small-town mystery. So this book is not exactly coming or cannot be categorized under theological thrillers or spiritual thrillers. It's actually, I would say, party-oriented book. So the name in itself says The Kitty Party Murder, and it has been written by Kiran Manral, and it's all about malicious gossip, and there's a murder which is going on, and one of the hosts of the kitty party are actually requested to help in the, who's actually bored, is requested to help to investigate in the murder. So there's a lot which has been written at the back. I'm not going to go into it, but then in short, it reads as Kahan Mehra, who is also known as Kay, is bored to the gills with mommyhood when her detective friend Runa asks her to help in a suicide investigation. Kay must infiltrate a ladies' kitty group and try to unearth the deepest and darkest secrets. As they try to get to the truth behind the suicide, Kay's apartment building is shaken by a mysterious death. The answers she and Runa seek lie buried under the fancy meals, designer dresses, and serious bling. But will Kay risk everything to get to them? So this is the second non-theological and non-spiritual fiction. Prompt is the dining room prompt, which is to read a book which is of a closed circle or a small group of people, but I have not included hotel and dinner party in it. And for this, I am reading Boris Akunin's first novel of the series, which is Pelagia and the White Bulldog. So from the back of the book, it reads as: in the dying days of the 19th century, the small Russian town of, again, I cannot pronounce this name, is shaken out of its sleepy rural existence by the arrival from St. Petersburg of a synodical inspector with a hidden agenda and a dangerously persuasive manner. Meanwhile, in the nearby country estate of Drozdovka, a prized white bulldog has been poisoned. The bulldog belongs to the cantankerous lady of the house. The old widow has taken to her bed, sick with fear of her two remaining dogs, and the potential beneficiaries wait fretfully to see whether or not she recovers. Sister Pelagia, bespectacled, freckled, woefully clumsy, and astonishingly resourceful, is summoned by the bishop of, again, I cannot pronounce this name, to investigate the bulldog's death. But her investigation soon takes a far more sinister turn when two headless human bodies are pulled out of the river on the edge of the estate. So this is something which I'm very and quite eager to read about. So this would be the first book of the series, which has been written by Boris Akunin of Sister Pelagia, and the second book, second one I have just shared in the for the billiards prompt, which is Pelagia and the Black Monk. So let's see if I can complete this and make a review on it. Now, the second last prompt is the lounge prompt, which is or the launch clue, which is to read a book which is written or set during the golden age of 1920 to 1930. So for this, I have chosen a book which has been written by G.K. Chesterton, which is called Father Brown Mysteries. Now, Father Brown Mysteries, the first one was published around 1911, but the subsequent mysteries, after popular demand, has been published between 1920 to the beginning or the early 1930s. The first collection of stories established G.K. Chesterton's kindly cleric in the front rank of eccentric sleuths. This collection contains all the favorite Father Brown stories. They represent the quiet wit and compassion which is so different from his moody and caustic predecessor, Conan Doyle's Sherlock Holmes. Father Brown solves his mysteries by a mixture of intuition and sympathetic worldliness in a totally believable manner. So this would be for the lounge prompt. Now there's a lounge prompt which is called the ballroom prompt, but I did not try to select any books for the ballroom prompt because hopefully that should complete my TBR requirement, or the requirement for I believe the police detective prompt. I do apologize for all the background sounds that you have been hearing today, because I'm actually in my terrace, and it's open air terrace, so there's a lot of pets around here, and of course of my neighbors, as well as there are birds chirping around. It's a beautiful day, it's very pleasant, and not particularly cold. And I'll see you soon again in another video very soon. So thank you for joining me. Have a good reading week ahead, and namaste.